Gilani, a principal designer at Digicorp. Thank you for taking out time today and watching this video. Today, I would like to welcome you to the virtual roundtable where I'm going to have a rendezvous with founders at Digicorp, and they are going to talk about product development in health tech and how did it all begin for Digicorp. So, without much ado, I would like to introduce Sanket. Hey, Sanket.
Sure. So I've been a co-founder of Digicorp. We started in 2004, and I have been a developer initially. I moved into different roles later on. So I've been a project manager. I've been into business development and sales. I my background is definitely technical, but currently I'm taking care of business development and sales and marketing for Digicorp. I moved to US in 2014, and since then I'm managing our client accounts here, also managing a product for one of our clients here. So yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Great, thanks. Hi, Nachiket.
Hi, Supriya. Yeah. So I think Sanket mentioned a lot of things. So we all started 18 years before. So I'm one of the co-founder of Digicorp. Was a developer in initial stage, did project management, and eventually, took a lot of sales activity for Digicorp. And since Sanket moved in USA, I'm also part of operational activities and taking care of finance and compliances of Digicorp along with sales and marketing. So yeah, this is pretty much about me. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Nachiket. Hey, Kuntal.
Hey, Supriya. So my introduction, we all started together, and I was also a programmer at that time and worked in various parts at the company, like handled mostly large products and big accounts at the company. Later on, I was in charge of the overall operations. Since last 2 years, I am working in one of our ventures, and I am looking at growth of that venture, Crick Heroes. So that's about me.
Great, thank you. Thanks a lot, Sanket, Kuntal, Nachiket. And I think we are just going to straight away dig on to the questions. So, Kuntal, my first question would be for you. When and how was Digicorp introduced to health tech industry?
Okay, so great. So, it's a very interesting story. We got introduced to healthcare just after 4 months when we started in 2004. And around April 2004, what happened is before Digicorp, I used to work at a local company. And, my boss at that had got one inquiry of healthcare product development. So that client was getting work done from one of the local vendors here, but he was not very happy with them, and they were looking for a trustable development partner, and that is how he landed. Like, my boss referred to us, and that is how it all got started.
Great. Sanket, Nachiket, do you have any your side of story to add on here?
So as Kuntal mentioned, so basically the customer actually wanted to have young, and passionate team members who can, dedicate their much of our time. And we are very newbie into this business, and as a startup, they thought that these guys can make a lot of difference because he has seen Kuntal working in that way. So he trusted us in that fashion that these four guys can definitely, help me out with the trouble with the earlier company. So I'm sure that would have make a lot of impact.
Great. Thanks. So with that, Nachiket, my next question is for you. So since you all, got your debut project in the health tech, were there any major challenges you saw coming your way? Can you just talk about few of those challenges and how did you all went about solving those?
Right. So as Kuntal mentioned, we were newbie, just graduated from the university and starting a business, right? And in just 4 months of time, we have a huge healthcare project came into our kitty. So the first challenge is definitely to understand the US healthcare industry, how that things work, right? And that challenge is more of a collaborative nature, where the customer himself came to India. He was in India with us for 2 months of time, and gave us the entire knowledge of how the healthcare industry works. He was actually drawing the map of the clinic, that this is the kind of a workflow that or the desk of individual stakeholders, and these are the different systems working place, right? So it was like first challenge was a collaboratively we solved, where we had got a lot of training to understand what is healthcare and what is EHR healthcare, what is electronic health record system for the USA, right? The second challenge I would say is definitely the platform or learning the .NET framework, where we are supposed to build that system, right? And the .NET framework was in 2004 is the framework 1.0 was the very new after VBA. So we used at that time there are not many training programs available online, which is there right now, right? So we used to read books, we used to take help from the friends, and taking making a lot of mistakes and learning from that, right? So we learned that framework slowly and gradually, and eventually we had a very good control over the overall framework. So that was the I would say second challenge. And the third and two more, the biggest challenges were like building a very strong architect for the entire system, right? And since we are very fresh programmers, right, we are junior programmers, so we actually hire a consultant who actually helped us build the entire architect and what web services are and how to build those, right? So taking their help, making a lot of experiments, and we are able to come up with a very strong architecture, because we have to deal with millions of rows and 1,000 concurrent users, right? So how to deal with this, which we have never done in the past. So with the help of consultant, yes, we are able to come up with this. Definitely it was the first try, it was not robust and optimized, but yes, that was the good start for us. So this is the second, I would say, the most big challenge that we come over. And the biggest challenge we came over is like building this system with lot of iteration after 1.5 years time, spending a lot of time with customer team and all, right? The system was working very slow, right? So almost of 1.5 years time, customer is saying that whatever you guys have done, but system is getting slower and slower and slower. So doing a lot of dig down research analysis, we came to know that we have to do a query optimization, we have to flush the memory, we have to optimize the web services and the code refactoring, right? So that was after 15-20 days of analysis we came to know, and then we have to refactor the entire system, which we built in 1.5 years of time. And that refactoring we did in 60 days of time, where we used to sleep just 3 to 4 hours or 5 hours a day. We used to work on weekends as well, and we used to sleep in the office, and we sleep at 3 and wake up at 7, start doing stuff. So that actually the biggest challenge we come over. And once we build that robust architecture, that actually we use for another customer of ours, and which is still in existence, and that actually has give us a lot of confidence of that we can manage we can scale and manage the large scale applications, right? So these are the four major challenges, but yeah, there are so many other, but these are the four I can at least remember.
Great. That sounds really interesting, Nachiket. And I think it's getting interesting. Now that you've talked about challenges, I'm sure, in order to manage these challenges, you guys would have need, your key team, How was it, Kuntal, how was it all about building the team and getting the people together who could manage these challenges and get the product, up and running?
Sure. So I think team was the interesting part. As we all were fresh graduate passed out of it, and good thing was that we all knew programming, so we could build the initial team. Initially we were programming, but soon we realized that we are not going to be enough. There is a lot of work, And what usually, anyone passed out of college would do would go ahead and ask their friend, "Hey guys, would you help us?" So we were lucky enough that some of our friends have faith in us and they joined us. In short, we created our college classroom. We recreated it, and it was a great time at that time. Meaning that is how initial team was formed, and we were lucky that from our close circle we could find 8 9 people, and when things started, we also recruited good people. So that way, it was good. Another thing is in terms of required skill set, we did not have, as Nachiket said, .NET framework was new. None of us programmed in .NET before this particular project, and so we had to learn it on the fly. Luckily, with the help of consultant and our own hustle, because as founders or entrepreneurs, we don't have a choice. We have to make it happen. So we could do that. Third thing was in skill set. We none of us knew what is US healthcare, right? Definitely, Nachiket's parent were having medical background, but Nachiket did not choose to do that. But at that point, our client came to our rescue. He knew that these guys don't know anything. I don't want to, make it a point of failure. So he came and sat with us and made sure that we get a good jump start. And then we could manage really well, and things flew off from there.
Great, great. I think that's really interesting to know. And so it seems that you guys have been there and done that all, facing the challenges. You had people whom you could trust in the beginning. So I think that worked great for you. Sanket, my next question would be for you. So, starting from the beginning, how do you think the health tech market was then when you guys started, and how do you think, Digicorp has evolved from in these past years?
Sure. So I think the health tech market in general has changed a lot. It all started, I think, in the beginning of 90s, at least in the US, and when there was a push to digitize the patient records. So many vendors started developing EHRs to make their mark in the industry. Though there was this emerging concern about patient privacy that everybody started recognizing as soon as this digitization started. What happened was the federal government at that time introduced Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It's called HIPAA in 1996 to ensure that the protection of patient information extended to these newly digitized products that were coming into the market. So many vendors were actually pushed in this direction, and they all started working on it to make sure that the privacy of the patients were maintained. And then, at the beginning of 21st century, there was this huge growth in the health tech market because of the new technological advances. So what Kuntal and Nachiket mentioned, there was this whole new .NET framework which was introduced, and there were many other technological advances. So that period saw, the adherence to the standards across the industry. The Health Information Technology for Economic and Clinical Health, the HITECH Act, was introduced in 2009. And I think that played a significant part in this because that actually offered financial incentives to the eligible providers who were using or adopting the EHR products. So that was one big push. And one of the requirements for receiving the incentives was to use the EHR or the certified EHR products. So after that, the Office of National Coordinator for Health Information Technology started certifying these EHR products to make sure that they meet the certain requirements for the meaningful use. So this in turn forced a lot of EHR vendors to produce systems with a certain amount of security features and the ability to communicate with each other. So that led to even more standardization across the different EHR products. And during this time, I think we got an opportunity to work on another EHR product, and that helped us, advance our domain expertise by learning meaningful use criteria and the requirements. We also certified that product for different meaningful use criteria from 2011 to 2016. So the incentive which was introduced by high tech had a significant impact on the EHR adoption at that time. Then in 2015, I think the Medicare Access and Chip Reauthorization Act was introduced, which was basically a merit-based incentive program, which was different from the earlier high-tech incentive program. So that focused on promoting, interoperability between the EHR systems. And so the market changed dramatically in last 10 years. And I think that has also helped us in kind of, slowly improving our skills during this time.
Great, great. Thanks, Sanket. That was really insightful. Nachiket, since Sanket has, shared his take on how Digicorp has grown over these past years, what, according to you, has Digicorp has to offer as a competitive advantage when it comes to health tech product development?
Right. So definitely, like 18 years of history speaks for itself. So it is like, since the beginning, we actually understood the overall healthcare of USA, right? So just like what we have in India, so USA has, hospitals, nursing homes, and small practices, right? Group of doctors or individual doctors. So we actually, understood how does that work, and if actually we actually deliver the solutions to those small practices and individual group of doctors, where we actually build the practice management or electronic health record system for them. Along with that, for nursing homes, which is like long-term care, right? So whenever if you have a disease which requires a long-term care, then you have to go to a nursing home. So there is a different segment altogether, for which also we built a huge enterprise application, right? So at least we are able to cater to these two bigger segments of US, and we actually understood how does that work, right? So this is a really a great understanding of how does this electronic health record works. Along with that, it is not just limited to electronic health record. Like we have developed other applications which is related to autism, where I'll just give you a couple of examples here, because we have worked with various other applications as well. So one of them is Exercise Buddy. So it's like a Chicago-based consultant who was giving exercise or giving exercise solutions to a lot of autism kids and other people, right? So we built so actually that was a paper-based application. We converted completely into a mobile solution, and which actually has a lot of impact for a lot of universities. So many university students are using that Exercise app, which is actually a visual exercise system that empowers autistic and other neurodivergent individuals to successfully engage with physical activity, right? So this is kind of one of the app that we develop, and we worked and dealt with it for 5 to 6 years of time, and the solution is still in existence and it's growing. Second app I talk about is like MePreg, which is like to manage it's for the pregnant women to manage their day-to-day pregnancy tracking, right? So they can track and check pregnancy highlights or capture any daily bump photos, or they can they can schedule the appointment doctors onto a calendar and check for any reminders and so on and so forth. So these are few applications also we have dealt with it, and there are so many others. So definitely one of the competitive advantages having a deep, vast experience in healthcare industry. Second is the skilled workforce. So we have since we are working into healthcare EHR for last 18 years of time now, we have a workforce who actually understand how healthcare industry works, right? And that is where we are able to solve this problem or any solution very fast. We understand the terminology language of healthcare industry, right? And that's how that is one of the I would say core competitive advantage. Second is definitely a vast experience and various applications that we have developed on mobile or desktop or on wearable, right? So these are I would say that the most competitive advantage Digicorp carries.
Great.
So Supriya, I think there are many questions you are asking. Uh, but, as Digicorp, we believe that building usable solutions is something which we are proud of and which we have focused on for a long time. So tell us about some unique problems that we have solved with design for a health tech product.
Well, yeah, there are many, but yeah, let me start with the first ever, stunt with the health tech product which we had designed. So I remember back in 2013, we got an opportunity to work on a project which Nachiket just mentioned, exercise connections. We were supposed to design a visual exercise system, right? It was specifically to be created for autistic children, and the physical trainer, he was in real world, he was using those charts and placards and flashcards in order to conduct these exercise sessions with the autistic kids. Now he came up with this idea of creating an application which further was going to be used by the autistic kids themselves and also by the parents, and just like Nachiket mentioned, further going to be used by multiple universities who were providing this type of physical education to autistic kids. So I think, yeah, this was a very interesting application to work on, and trying to understand the users. I mean, this was first in case where we actually did a lot of user research and to say a user experience study. I remember asking client to ship in from US the actual physical design, the physical play cards and flashcards which he was using in his classrooms to train the autistic kids. And he was actually taken aback with this ask, right? He was like, no one till now I have worked with has actually made this, as they went ahead and started giving up ideas about that. But like, you are the first people who really want to understand how actually I'm doing it right now. So I think he, in the beginning, he had this trust on Digicorp that these people are on the right track. And he was also, fair enough in giving us all the answers. We had access to autistic kids, their parents, where we could do a fair amount of user research. And yeah, there were a lot of challenges which we faced specifically while user testing, where we built up some wireframes. We took it to the kids. They were using it, and it was amazing to see how they were interacting, and there was a lot of learning which happened. So yeah, I think this was a challenge, and yeah, we I think overcome it. And yeah, David, the client, he was really happy with the end result. So yeah, I think we did a good job there.
No, great. I think thank you for that answer, Supriya.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great. So yeah, I'll take the mic back in my hands. Sanket, my next question goes to you. So how does the health industry look like for the coming years, and is Digicorp ready for it?
Yeah, so I think the technology will undoubtedly play a key role in healthcare's future. The future of healthcare includes technology that seamlessly connects patients' medical history with other data, real-time health insurance coverage, financial information, all of that to help providers make better decisions, improving the patient's health and reduce the cost. This pandemic has undoubtedly accelerated technological advancements and adoption in healthcare. So telehealth has made it possible for patients to receive care without an in-person office visit. In addition, the wearable technology has enabled remote patient monitoring, remote monitoring of vitals, to even remote echocardiograms. One of the biggest challenges within the healthcare today is the lack of data sharing between the providers. Patient data and information are not routinely shared across providers, which can cause challenges, frustrations, delays, and potentially harmful outcomes for the patients as well. So secure sharing of patient data and information across the medical providers will be one of the most important advancements in coming decades, I feel. I think we are very fortunate to be working on these problems already. Our deep understanding of meaningful use interoperability requirements have definitely helped us be ready for those coming changes in next few years. Overall, I think in 2019, the global health market was worth an estimated 175 billion US dollars, and that is expected to reach around 660 billion by 2025. So I think there's just a lot to expect in next decade.
And Digicorp is ready for it.
Absolutely. Like I said,
Yeah, absolutely.
we have been fortunate to, be working in this industry for a long time. We have, a lot of experience in this market. We have, as Nachiket and Kuntal mentioned earlier, we have worked on, with nursing home products. We have worked on the clinics. We have worked on many different products, not just the EHRs, but like Nachiket mentioned, we have worked in different, different kind of technological solutions. So we have a broad experience, I would say, and we have seen this entire transformation in this, last 2 decades in the health tech industry, and we have followed up it very closely, and we have that experience. So I think we are pretty much ready with that.
I'm sure that sounds great and interesting. Well, I would really like to, thank all three of you, to taking out time and sharing this small, history and also what lies ahead for Digicorp in the future when it comes to health tech product. Are there any closing lines any one of you would want to add, Nachiket, Kuntal?
No, so I think as Sanket mentioned, there is a great growth lies ahead in the healthcare industry, and Digicorp is rightly positioned, and we are looking for a good time ahead.
Great. Yes. Great. Then, yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot again, all three of you. It was really nice talking to you. Take care.
Thanks, Supriya.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Supriya.
everyone.